Welcome back to The Lead, everyone. In the pop lead, every holiday season, movies vie to be the big blockbuster, Oscar bait, the film everyone's talking about. But as the small screen has grown more ambitious with cult followings and binge viewing for shows like Breaking Bad, do movies carry the same magic? New York Times film critic A.O. Scott argues yes. In December's New York Times Magazine Movies issue, Scott says the big screen still offers something unique. He writes, there are filmmakers determined to refine and reinvigorate the medium, to recapture its newness and uniqueness, and to figure out, in a post-film platform, agnostic, digital, everything era, what the art of cinema might be. It's wonderfully written. And Tony Scott joins me right now. Lay it out all there for us right now, Tony. Your favorite film of the holiday season?
The one I really like, which is not the most cheerful one, is this movie Nebraska, directed by Alexander Payne. And it's a good holiday movie because it's about a family coming together in this little town in Nebraska, kind of reluctantly. It's also a father-son story with a terrific performance by Bruce Dern as this guy who's starting to lose it a little bit, an aging Nebraskan who lives in Montana, who thinks that he's won one of those sweepstakes. He got one of those letters that said, you may have won $1 million. And he persuades his son to drive him to Lincoln, Nebraska to pick up the money, and they have to stop in his hometown along the way, where all kinds of faces and memories from the past kind of come popping up.
We have a short clip of the film, and again, this is where the Bruce Dern character is going to claim the money that he insists that he won.
Listen to me, you didn't win anything. It's a complete scam, so you gotta stop this, okay?
I'm running out of time.
You didn't have a suitcase.
I'm not staying there.
Dad, I can't let you go.
It's none of your business.
Yes, it is. I'm your son.
Well, then why don't you take me?
You can't just drop everything and drive to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, what else you got going on?
You know, as you can see, this film is in black and white,
Yeah.
which is unusual.
Very unusual.
In this day and age.
Yeah.
So how does Nebraska and other films that you seem to like a lot, like Her, Inside Llewellyn Davis, how do they illustrate your point about what films are offering right now in some ways that television is not?
Well, I think one of the things that they offer is smaller scale stories in a way. You can be taken into a very intimate world and into the imagination of a filmmaker. I mean, all of the films that you mentioned and the ones that I like so much they have a very individual stamp of a director thinking about how to tell this story. Just even the fact that Nebraska is in black and white, you know, that it's using a lot of non-professional actors who live in this town in Nebraska, suggests that Alexander Payne has a kind of freedom working within this medium to tell the story in a very particular and idiosyncratic and individual way, in the way that the Coen brothers in Inside Llewellyn Davis do, or Spike Jonze in Her.
Is it ironic at all? I mean, a lot of people argue that the one thing films can do is big, you know, big budget, action, blockbuster, superhero, this and that. But you're arguing almost in some ways the complete opposite, that what films can still do is small.
I think so. I mean, it works both ways. Obviously, in terms of the movie business, the large-scale, you know, action blockbuster spectacle is certainly a way of getting the audience out of the house, something that's so big and amazing that you can only see it, you know, on a big screen, in 3D, in IMAX. But there is something about the way that a feature film within, you know, 90 minutes or 2 hours. In a way, the long-form story has gone to television, to cable television. You know, you can binge for 11 hours and watch all of Breaking Bad, or all of The Good Wife, or all of Scandal, or whatever it is. But if you really want to be kind of swept up in this sort of intimate, small-scale, individual world, movies, I think, have a power to do that television hasn't gotten to yet, partly because the emphasis is still, and more and more, on the visual.
So the only film that's being discussed in my house, largely because my house is dominated by two 6-year-old boys, is Frozen. It's the new big Disney film.
Right.
What's your take on it?
I actually have not yet seen it because my kids are a little older. So the movie that everyone's talking about in my house is Catching Fire, the second.
Also a big one, Dave. But the interesting about this is it's Disney animation as opposed to Pixar.
Yes. Well, and this keeps going back and forth. It's being preceded by a short that kind of tells you the story in a way of Disney animation from the earliest days of the black and white, hand-drawn, cell Disney Mickey Mouse animations to this new era of the computer-generated three-dimensional animation. And Disney and Pixar it's a very interesting kind of story, and maybe push and pull within that company.
If they both work for them, it's all success, though. All right, Tony Scott, great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Nice to see you.
We got some other